Welcome back to some professional Starcraft 2. Two of the best European players and just overall Starcraft 2 players. Let me introduce you. From Germany. The Terran player. Occasionally goes by Heromarine, but better known as Big Gabe. A tough opponent, though. The Slayer of... Oh, what about... Whoa, no. Jimmy! We broke it! We broke... Oh, okay. The Slayer of Cyril. The man who, if it weren't for Cyril, would probably be a contender for best in the entire world. At only 17 years old. I think he's 17 now, right? Couldn't even play in WCS because of age requirements, but now is ransacking tournaments throughout the world. It is Reynor. Representing Team Clash. Just, Reynor tests the limits of keyboards, of mice. So like if you want to stress test, I'm sure companies, in order like this keyboard, so a lot of companies will do like a mechanical stress test. This keyboard, this mouse lasts 1 trillion presses or whatever amount. But they found it slightly cheaper to just let Reynor play StarCraft with it for a week. And then they'll find out exactly how long that goes. Because Reynor has a, well, he hasn't started off yet, but we'll see if he breaks that 1,000 mark by the end. And the thing is, they're useful actions as well. He just plays a very high action style. Sometimes to his detriment when it comes to like a really heavy Ling Bane style, like a whole lot of Ling run-bys, counterattacks, little details. And of course, he has to be inevitably compared with Cyril, who's more, I'd put Cyril more as a tactician. Like, if he thinks the best strategy is one that is slower and more defensive, he'll take it. Whereas Reynor is a man of action. One way or another. Heromarine, on the other hand, Big Gabe. It's hard to pin him down. He's definitely a Terran player, and he's a Terran's Terran. That means if he can't build units that start with M and then micro them, which also starts with M, of course, all the way until the late game, he's disappointed. Though, many times he will build those more efficient units like Liberators and Ghosts if forced down that road. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. By the way, Heromarine blocking the third with an engineering bay. This is known as a dick move in most cultures, but for Terrans, it is only fair. Of course, slows down the third command center. You can cancel it at the last second. The reason an engineering bay is ideal over, say, a supply depot or even a bunker is because the engineering bay... So a building starts with like 10% of its HP when it starts building. An engineering bay compared to a depot has significantly more HP for minimally more cost, 125 versus 100. So that engineering bay, a lot harder to kill, even if you've only built it a little bit, than a comparable bunker or supply depot, which both have only 400. What's coming up next? A cloak? Well, he's building cloak. He's researching cloak. That tech lab is lighting up right now, though Reynor's Overlord slipping in from kind of an off angle. Is he actually going to go for Banshees? Reynor, he sees the tech lab upgrading. A lot of action going on in that tech lab. They tried to hide it from the enemies, but they're having their daily jazz disco breakdown, and that is what gives off the light in the tech lab. It's good for clearing your head and working on your research. Everybody knows that. Stim on the way. And he's not trying to show it to anyone. It just seems that Stim will be the trajectory of this build. Now, I don't think he's going to be pushing out with Stim finishing, but that's to get your Stim done and then get combat shields going. So by the time combat shields is finishing, you'll probably have +1, you'll have medevacs, you'll have all the fixins of an early Terran push. 6 Hellions just kind of... What? There's nothing... Reynor! Oh, what? Reynor just bought so much time with that split-second reaction. That looked like those drones were dead. Honestly, I'm not sure why there was nothing here. But in a fraction of a second, gets the Evo chamber, and instead of losing, say, 7 or 8 drones, he ends up losing just 2. The Vikings still looking for Ovies. Reynor at a pretty comfortable 51 drones and counting. He's got his 1-1. Now, this is important. When it comes to especially Marine Medevac up against Lingbane, which is what we're seeing here. Is there a lair yet? There is a lair done as well. I think Reynor may have... I've forgotten is maybe a little strong, but his lair is done and his Baneling Nest is not. Usually you'd want to be starting Baneling Speed as soon as that completes. So I think a little bit of a misstep there. Sometimes it doesn't build because drones are annoying. But Reynor going to be pretty comfortable with the current position. He actually built 2 I mean, he did get Cloak, I guess, right? Now we got Combat Shield +1/+1 lining up. Heromarine, you can already see which direction he's going. We're going to be looking at 2 Medevacs finishing, Combat Shields finishing, +1/+1 finishing, and with it is likely to be a push on the 4th base, which is going to be a focal point of the mid-game. We've kind of skipped past the early game. Most of the early game units like Hellions and to an extent Banshees. The Banshees are still here. Big Gabe waits for his moment. Unless he's able to rack up double-digit kills, though. It's not a huge... well, okay. Alright. Banshee's starting to get a lot done. Dragging the Queens away as well. There's no other detection here. The Overseer lagging behind. 9 kills, and he gets out with the Banshees. Sure, it's not as big of an impact as if he had hit with like 40, 45 drones on the field, but still. Here comes the double drop. It looks like he's not going to risk it. He's not going to push out with tanks right now. He's just going to use... he's going to hit a power spike in just about 15 seconds. He's going to have combat shields +1/+1 and stim. And now, Reynor is out to meet him. There's a lot of creep. There's enough creep that Heromarine has a ways to go before threatening the base. Guns down, 1 queen, but the knitting crew knits her back together for enough time to minimize losses. Reynor's so good at that. Already up to 500 APM, and we're just getting started. But is an armory finishing? Armory is done. Hellbats can be transformed. The Marines moving with the medevacs, of course, but Reynor already has 2-2 on the way. It's not like he's been particularly slowed down. He's sitting on 80 drones. Hive starts, Lings and Banes from 2 different angles, one of them on creep, but getting a little distracted by another attack. Heromarine successfully drawing some of the forces away. So overall, instead of being a crush 2-prong attack, Reynor finds himself chewing up the Marines on the right flank, but the left flank repels the Zerglings. And that means Reynor has to rebuild. He's going to lose some of this creep. Banelings need to be rebuilt, because without the Banelings, Heromarine can easily stand his ground against the Zerglings. Wow. Heromarine practicing some social distancing, and this is just his daily life, not so much because of any sort of rules. It's just good to keep the Zerg at a comfortable distance, and the supply depots really help with that. And how like, German engineering. I've never... It looks so simple now. That's how you're supposed to do it. I'm really gonna screw this up in my games. But I'm gonna try. And fail, but we'll see. Adrenal glands. Ultraless Cavern. There is a place for him here, because Reynor does have the economy and he has the production. As long as he can keep Heromarine at bay off of his bases, he can use the Ultras to push Heromarine back to his own side of the map. And from there, either he can decide to push in, or maybe he has the option of going for another tech. Say Broodlords, Vipers, whatever. There's no reason he can't add them in now. But Heromarines about to hit 2-2. He's on the 5th base. It's gone. Oh my god, the efficiency. Heromarine is working every angle to try to get things done. The problem is, Reynor has sprinted up to Hive Tech. We're at 10 minutes in, and both sides are nearly maxed. Oh, welcome back, Banshees. Apparently they got repaired, and they're back. What a guy. So far, the trades are very good, as 79 Zerglings have died, and not much else for Heromarine, but Drilling Claws! Well, Reynor splits at the last second. Meanwhile, Marine's getting chased into a corner. The pickup is a little on the slow side. The Banshee is taken out. Let's check that. Yep. We're at 520 and counting on the actions per minute. The Reynor keyboard stress tester. A few more units splitting off. Heromarine finding those angles. He has just a few moments before the Marine Marauder composition is going to lose a lot of effectiveness. There isn't chitinous splitting, but there are ultras on the way. They're dangerous if they actually connect with these Marines and Marauders. Couple tanks taken out effectively for free. Thor is here. I don't know if he was expecting Broodlords or some sort of air, but Thor gets chewed up by the Mechalisks. And suddenly here comes Reynor, barreling across the map with so many Zerglings. Heromarine forced off of his fourth, but he's stabbing back at Reynor's. He's gambling right now that he can hold on to his main. He's hitting the fifth. He's hitting the fourth. It's drop a clock on this side of the map. He's targeting the base. Can he pick up and get out? Yes, he can. Almost every single Marine. This base as well. It looks like the Marine's not quite enough. He will get out with 1 or 2 Hero Marines. 15 SCVs went down. 6 drones. And unfortunately, Reynor still has a 4th base intact, but it is on the edge of life. It's almost like Reynor needs to be re-expanding as soon as possible. Oh, well, he has a base right there. Come on, Winter, look at the mini-map. But here comes Heromarine again. He's still maxed out. Reynor's relying on Ultralisks, which, because Heromarine is only on 3 bases, that means the Ultras don't have to be cost-effective, but something was sniped. Something was sniped. It was the Baneling Nest! The Baneling Nest is super important. Did Reynor even notice? How many Banelings? There are 22 Banelings on the field right now. Banelings are the only thing keeping these Marines and Marauders from standing their ground and gutting down all the Zerg that come towards them. Will, at some point he's going to try to build Banelings. It's not going to work, and then he's going to say, oh no, as now Heromarine is working his way to the south. The Baneling Nest restarts. There is a small window that he's opened up here that he could potentially do a lot of damage. These are the last Banelings for now. Oh, big Widow Mine hit. Ultra gets clipped as well. Oh, but Lings into the main! Here comes Reynor! The counterattack is devastating! He's gutting the main! He's gutting the natural! Here come the Ultras! Banelings connecting! Heromarine falling on all fronts! Striking back at the 5th! But there are legs in the 3rd as well! Nowhere is safe! Zerglings are everywhere! The army sprints back to defend, but they have to pick up! But where are they gonna evacuate to? Nowhere safe! There's no home to go back to! There's a small counterattack! But the Zerglings might even be able to clean it up. Oh, it's so close! The Zerglings keep getting pulled away. Heromarine, just like that. 54 supply! It all came crumbling down so quickly. It did feel a little like borrowed time. But and when you are on that Marine Marauder mine unit composition, units that start with M plus micro, then you find yourself, well, you have to do damage. That's the summary. Like, you can't let the Zerg breathe, because the second he breathes, he has the energy to bring the hammer down. Oh my god. And that's Reynor, though. He's constantly waiting in the shadows. He's like a pack of ravenous dingoes watching a Terran player walk along the road holding a torch. and a revolver. But the second he looks the wrong way, the Reynor dingoes attack. Those wings, though. Oh my god. Adrenalings, cracklings. As the history on that, adrenal glands, as I think is the correct way to say it. Didn't we already do the introduction bit? Okay. They make the Zerglings attack real fast. And in Brood War, people were like, huh, there's got to be an easier way to say this. And the illustrious minds of Brood War were like, ha, they look like they're on crack. Cracklings. And to this day, the more you know. What does Heromarine do this time? It's not like he was playing bad. I think he was playing well for what it was. It's just that style, you're waiting for the Zerg to make a mistake. And the Zerg is doing the same thing, as we saw there. It just seems, whenever I watch that style against players of Reynor's caliber, which are a small number, you got like Cyril, Dark, maybe Rogue, then they don't make a mistake first. That's usually how it goes. And what does that mean? Like, what do you even do then? Well, there's always mech. Big proponent of mech. Honestly, Thors are... Well, Reynor has found some creative ways to deal with Thors. But in the later game, Thors are pretty devastating. Then there's also more committed 2-base timings as well. Like, for a while, Innovation was doing like a 3-tank, 3-barracks timing on 2-base that Zerg players couldn't figure out for like 3 months. And then eventually somebody's like, oh, you get baneling speed quicker. So we stopped doing that. And that, it's kind of continued to this day. It's partially because of... This map is not nearly as good. I'll talk about that in a sec. It's partially because of that Marine tank phase, that baneling speed quickly is so prevalent. Just, you don't want to risk those early tank pushes, because not only does baneling speed give you speed, especially on creep, but it also increases the HP of a baneling by 5, which can be the difference between dying in one shot to tank splash and not. So, not only does it, of course, close the distance, but it literally gives it more HP, which, for a while, Blizzard was... Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Reynor didn't just take the other base on that NG Bay block, but he's like, I'm going about... I have a plan, and I'm sticking to it. So, I'm kind of surprised, like... What was I saying? Oh, yeah, Blizzard was very reluctant to do, like, combined upgrades for a while, like... An upgrade that does 2 things, but eventually, if you don't do that, you do end up having a game that looks a lot more like all the custom games that are like Zerg hacks. First, you upgrade your lasers, and then you upgrade your better lasers, and then you have better Marines, and better lasers, and more range, and better lasers. It's like, okay, alright. Have Cyril or Reynor ever played any Brood War? That's a good question, but I don't think that would be appropriate, as neither of them would have been a teenager until after StarCraft 2 came out, and Brood War was rated T for teen. So, who feels old now? He's making it happen! 2 more factories on the way. He's just going straight into it. There's not a battle cruiser opener. He's got 1 uncloaked Banshee. He's just gonna show the Banshee. he's going to show the Banshee, and then here's the gamble. Well, a little bit of a gamble. It's not a huge gamble. It's like, okay, look, I made a Banshee last game. I made Hellions last game. I'm doing just what I did last game. The thing is, has this already been... Well, there's been Overlord speed, right? Reynor has Overlord speed, but he's not scouting the main. I'm checking the vision, yeah. That's actually a little lazy by Reynor, in my opinion. There should be an Overlord heading towards the main, at least right now. But, I mean, I know there's a Viking. But you can sneak an Ovi out, right? Every few seconds, like... Every upgrade that can finish, and every factory that finishes without Reynor realizing he's up against mech, is huge. Like, the biggest strength of mech is when it's a surprise. Like, you got a surprise of McDonald's sandwich here. Reynor's going to be looking at Lings and Banes and Baneling speed, and then suddenly Heromarine going to show up with a bunch of Cyclones and Blue Flame Hellions. And Lings and Banes can deal with it, but they just don't. Unless Heromarine falls asleep at the wheel. And even then, though, like, it really depends on the angle, but I doubt... And now, okay, now it's been scouted. Now, Reynor knows what's happening. He saw the lock-ons. What happens now from Reynor? Do we see Spire? Hydra Den? Infestation Pit? Hydra Den, interesting. Reynor really loves lists and links. He's a big fan of anything you can build a whole lot of and throw in a bunch of different directions. He's just going to try to go toe-to-toe with this. But I'm feeling good for Heromarine because he's even on supply, even on workers, and now Reynor's spending some time reacting, and also the mech upgrades are already on the way. There's the Did he cancel the... No, he didn't cancel the Hydra Den. Getting the Infestation Pit. Lurk? Okay, yes, I like this. Okay, I'm excited. So the Infestation Pit more than likely means a quick push to Hive, which means we're going for Lurker upgrades, which means we might actually see some Lurkers. I don't know why people don't make more Lurkers. Oh my god, where did Reynor come from? He came from everywhere. You know what I said about, well, suddenly Heromarine was engaging the front, the edge of the creep, and then suddenly Lings and Banes everywhere. Sides, he came from behind. Well, that does not help Heromarines' case. A lot of this was reliant on the Cyclone Hellion being able to keep the creep at bay, to maintain some form of, maybe not map control, but map presence. That no longer exists. He doesn't really, because he already switched out into tanks and Thors, and tanks and Thors, for all their strength, are not the most mobile units. They don't have the most agility. They've invested a lot in their strength and stamina stats, but the agility is just not there. Intelligence also pretty low, but they know what they're about. +2, +1. The Hive. Wait, was the Hive scanned? Heromarine scanned the natural. He saw the Evo chamber. So Reynor spread out his tech. Almost all the other tech buildings are out on the map, besides the pool and the Hive. Of course, you're not really worried about a drop against mech. Now, adaptive talons, or as it was once called, digging claws. Speed on creep and burrow speed. It's like a combination of drilling claws and zergling speed for lurkers. And here's a fun fact. If you play on potato graphics, then the animation for the burrowing of lurkers doesn't exist when they have adaptive talons. They just, one moment, they're unburrowed, and then the next moment, they are burrowed, and there is no animation. You could watch this by watching most pro gamer streams. Alright. +1/+2 for Reynor. I'm interested to see how he uses the lurkers. Is he just going to try to collapse and eviscerate? Or is he... well, Vipers are eventually the answer. If this becomes more of a stalemate, Vipers. But Reynor might just want to go. He's dunking the lurkers down. They don't have their range upgrade yet. The Zerglings are washing up against the planetary. There's a singular Banshee. The +2 armor kind of showing its value here. A lot of lurkers are dying. Like, that was okay. And now Reynor's like, okay, I'll build Vipers. God, Winter. I hate saying you're right. Don't worry, he never has. Oh, okay. Heromarine once again has put up his fortifications. And those depots remain raised. And the Zerglings remain at bay. Lurker range, the Seismic Spines. What a fun name. Is completing. That means they'll have 10 range. Still less than a siege tank, but they can outrange like a Thor on the ground. They already kind of could. They are very tough to deal with if you're caught unprepared. If you don't already have your tanks spread and your units kind of spread out, going up a ramp or something could be absolutely devastating. Reynor's sitting on 90 workers. Heromarine on 86. Oh, the triple Nidus! The triple Nidus plays! Oh my... Reynor is doing the strategies that Twitch chat grandmasters worldwide will appreciate. Why don't you just build more Nidus worms? So then you can put more units through. Shut up. Stop wasting your money. It's so obvious. Splits off the Banes. The attack is moving forward. He scans the triple Nidus. The trip.
Who does that?
And it's all over the Bane. The Cyclones locking on. They take out... Oh, wait, whoa. If any finish, they can all come through. They're all connected to the same network. The way the Nidus network works is it's a single Wi-Fi network. Each worm has the same packets on the network. The Nidus is a series of tubes. So that means it doesn't matter which Nidus you put it in. They're all still in the network. Meanwhile, Reynor says, okay, I guess I'll just go in the front door. So, yes, you can... Anything that was put into any of the Nidus networks is now on the network and can come out any of the worms. The more you know. So far, he's had network connectivity problems with getting to Heromarines main, but if we can hack his way through. Now, he spent like half a dozen, well, like 4 or 5 lurkers in that fight. His Vipers, like, the units lost tab is not looking incredible for Reynor. Because Reynor, as I said, a man of action. He does not want to slow this down and go for like 8 Vipers and Broodlords. Don't want to get, what, Infestors? Never heard of them. No, he's going to try to continually punch through every possible angle as long as he can. Now there's one Nidus. Can I get one? He's dragging some tanks at the... We'll call it a 4th. Another Nidus! We got 2 for the price of 1. Nope, they cost twice as much. But another Nidus in the main, maybe? It's unclear! The lurkers are everywhere! They haven't burrowed yet because he's fighting in the middle of the map. Heromarine is starting to scramble. The lurkers burrow. How are you going to deal with this? Okay, that works. Meanwhile, there's still an Overseer. It pops another couple Nidus. Nope, Niduses. Wormy boys. And that is not cost effective. The tanks are brought up close and personal with the Hydras, but I think they're gonna be mostly okay. It's a mess out there right now. More lurkers being sent through the network. He's got some serious fiber action right now getting through it. Yes, Heromarine confirms indeed those are lurkers. Now we got some tanks moving up. The lurkers back into the Nidus. Now I'm over here. Oh, they said Warp Gate was good. try triple Nidus Lurker Harass. Now, of course, this isn't free. This is costing Reynor a fair bit of change here. But he has 89 workers, and he has all of the bases on his side, pretty much. So, it's not like he can't afford it right now. Reynor loses all that, and he's like, you know what? Let's change it up. JK, 12 more lurkers. Let's keep going. Triple Nidus. Heromarine, to his credit, has held on strongly. He hasn't lost an overwhelming... He still has a solid SCV count. He hasn't lost an overwhelming number of units or bases. In fact, he lost no bases. Well, that's a scary amount of lurkers. Oh. That is a thresher of lurkers right there. You need like 7 tanks. Even if there aren't any Vipers. That summarizes most of this game. Meanwhile... Oh, is Blinding Cloud time? No, he yanks one over. Get over here! The Planetary taking big hits. The SCVs trying their damnedest. Where's the scan? You got a scan! And Heromarine holds, but at what cost? Well, Reynor still lost 8,000 more, including 3,500 more gas, but he's essentially been untouched. Sure, Heromarines, he's tried some counterattacks to little success. Oh, here come the Banelings. He's behind! The Planetary Micro! Oh my god! Holy shit! What? I can't, that's not, what? That's not supposed to work. Don't let your dreams be memes. The boys showing their teleportation skills as well. A lot of them bruised and battered, but they make it through the Planetary out the other side and throw the repairs into it. And finally, Heromarine with a devastating counterattack of 2 Blue Flame Hellions. Here come 100 Zerglings and a bunch of lurkers. Heromarine has almost maxed out for maybe the first time. Pretty close. He's adding more factories. He's going to 13 factories. He's got more factories than the Industrial Revolution right now. That's probably not true. It was a figure of speech. But finally, Reynor has settled. Is that a Ghost Academy? Is he gonna go Ghost to counter Vipers? Oh, come on. No. No, no, no. Not. We're in uncharted waters here. A few tanks, but not enough. Oh my god, the tanks hit so hard. With the Blinding Cloud abducts! Everything's dying. It's carnage. On both sides. Some lock-ons. Oh, he dunks the Vipers down. I mean, well, you know. You figured it out. You know what I'm talking about. More barracks on the way to build ghosts, I assume. The Nidus network is at risk of being disconnected. They actually have a lot of HP. Oh, and here come the lurkers getting all up in his grill. Blinding Cloud. He's caught between a rock and a hard place. Thor's yanked into the fray. Another tank as well. Reynor with an overwhelming victory in this fight. Heromarine stepped over his side of the map. He crossed the Rubicon, and he's not coming back. As now Reynor rains down his vengeance. He drags everyone close, and he blinds everyone far. And suddenly the Planetary Fortress. Suddenly, all that Heromarine worked for in the center of the map. To hold the line. A single thrust of Reynor across the field, and he's lost almost all of it. But he stops him. Heromarine will hold. I'm just going to take a quick breather. Reynor approaching 600 actions per minute. Heromarine still going hard as well. Lings take a lot of APM. Lurkers looking for another angle. The tanks. A literal siege line. Nope. That lurker put down. Still a lot of Vipers. There's 6 Vipers with near full energy. Oh my god, it's a... Well, that ghost disappeared. This base is almost completely undefended. Where are the tanks? There are 22 tanks and none of them are here. Well, now one is. Ah! As the ghost says. Meanwhile, 4 tanks are looking for a counterattack. Oh, EMPs onto the Vipers! He dodges it! Oh, but did he land another one? There's still enough blinding clouds. There's not enough energy for more EMPs. Does he have enhanced shockwaves? He's upgrading it now in TVZ! The planetary. I don't know how much dancing in and out is going to save you this time. Meanwhile, counterattacks going huge. Some of the tanks were dragged back, but the Cyclones will snipe one base. Reynor pulling back to deal with this. If Heromarine can take the pressure off, he's Wait, he's not. That's not his main? Is that his third? No, where's he getting all these command centers from? Oh, so one base was sniped. Reynor pulls back. He's realigning again for another. Oh, Reynor gets hit by a tank, and much like a Diamond Leaguer says, ah, screw it, here we go. Well, Cyclones don't really outrange the Lurkers, but they kind of do. But Heromarine has kept it together. Reynor still has money in the bank, so even killing bases won't immediately bring a benefit. The Nidus network is still online. Is there... Nope, get out of the way! Get out of the way! Hold on. Let me at him! One going down. Meanwhile, it looks like this base will go down, but how much will it cost? The networks, the worms. 23 drones died with that base as well, but once again, Reynor doesn't really need drones. He's getting Burrow now for his non-lurker-based units, which are not very many, to be honest. He has 19 lurkers and 6 Vipers. These tanks doing a little. This base has 2 tanks, which is approximately 15 less tanks than it needs. Good luck. Nidus Worms 15 through 18. And Heromarine, select all armor! Oh no! Oh no. He's losing the front. And now Reynor, well, losing a couple lurkers, but a splash in the pan. It goes. Nope, 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 boys! 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 Everything okay up there, boys? Oh no, the lurkers are shredding the main! All of the production. It's not a death blow, but it's close to it. There are a few factories out of the map, but it's not like he's done that much damage to Reynor's economy. He has to quarantine his main because there are Zerg in there. But here comes Reynor at the front and at the back. 600 APM and 0 fucks. You might say, where's your broodlords? Where's your infestors? Into that he counters. Where's your triple Nidus network mass lurker Viper? Heromarine will clear up his main. You know what that leaves vulnerable? The front. Another assault. The tanks will try to hold. The lurkers getting a little bit too big for their britches. The network is still intact. Reynor closes in. Blinding cloud to open things up. Looking for some more abducts, yanks him over the top. Lurkers happily able to shred them. And Reynor in one of The most exciting Terran versus Zergs I've seen this year. Takes it in 2, but that felt like a full-length best of 7, maybe just in that game. Both players showcasing an exciting style. Reynor refusing to slow down, refusing to bow to the common wisdom that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. He says, no, fast is fast. And with 600 actions per minute, he beats Reynor in Heromarine, big game, in 25 minutes. 2 great games. Thank you to Wardy for sending out those replay packs. Go check out Wardy, but not before pressing that like button, subscribing, ringing the bell, checking out the playlist. Who looks at playlists nowadays? Of my pro game casting. Being like, why didn't he do this or that? Or just marveling at the person half your age and double your talent. I'm sorry. That's unfair. Triple. Thank you. Good luck. Have fun.